Have you ever felt her eyes linger on you in a way that made your chest tighten, yet when you looked back, she quickly looked away? That hesitation, that subtle pull, it's not random. Men, most of you miss it. You think she's just being polite or maybe unsure, but deep down, something far more primal is happening. She wants to give herself to you, but she won't say it. Not yet. And the reason she stays silent is more powerful than you imagine. Women, when they feel desire, do not just shout it from the rooftops. They test, they challenge, they observe. It's a silent game, and if you don't understand it, you'll keep missing every sign she's trying to show you. Here's the truth. Attraction isn't about who talks first or who makes the grand gesture. It's about subtle cues, invisible threads of tension, a magnetic energy that flows between two people. When a woman wants you in a way she can't admit, she leaves traces. Tiny, almost imperceptible footprints in the way she moves, the way she laughs, even in the tone of her voice when she thinks you're not listening. These are not accidents. They are her subconscious giving you clues. If you're awake enough, alert enough to notice, you can decode her intentions before she ever admits them. And when you do, you hold a power most men never even realize exists. Let me ask you something. Have you noticed how she touches her hair when she talks to you or subtly mirrors your gestures? Maybe she laughs a little too long at your jokes or finds excuses to brush past you, even lightly. That is not random. That is a woman's body betraying her mind. It's her way of saying, I'm interested, but I'm in control. Because make no mistake, control is everything. Women are wired to feel out a man before surrendering to him. It's not a trick, it's biology. The ones who rush, who hand themselves over too quickly, rarely hold the same intensity. The slow, testing, careful approach is where desire becomes potent, dangerous, unforgettable. Most men completely misunderstand silence. They see her distance and assume she's disinterested. They see hesitation and take it as rejection. But this is the exact opposite. Silence is a powerful signal. It's her way of asking, without words, do you notice me? Do you see me? Can you handle the intensity that I am? Many men fail this test without even knowing it exists. They overcompensate. They chase, they beg for attention. But the man who understands this, the man who holds his composure, who radiates stability and confidence while she dances around the edges of her own desire, he becomes irresistible. He becomes the man she can't stop thinking about, even when she pretends she doesn't care. The challenge then is perception. Can you read between the lines? Can you notice the tiny signals that scream louder than words? A lingering gaze, a subtle touch, a laugh that vibrates with something deeper than humor. These are the hidden signs of a woman ready to give herself, but only to the man who proves he deserves it. And make no mistake, she is testing you with every move, every glance, every pause. If you fail to notice, the opportunity evaporates. But if you succeed, you step into a realm of connection most men never even dream of. This is not about manipulation. It's not a game of tricks or cheap tactics. It's about understanding female psychology at its most intimate level, recognizing desire before it's spoken, respecting it, responding to it, and letting her reveal herself on her own terms. That is power. That is attraction. That is how you make a woman feel compelled to give herself without her ever having to say it. The first hidden sign is one most men completely miss. Her energy shifts when you enter the room. It's not in what she says, it's in the way her body reacts before her mind even realizes it. A woman can't fully hide desire even when she tells herself she's composed. Watch closely, the way her breathing changes, the way her posture subtly leans toward you, the small, almost imperceptible spark in her eyes. These micro-signals are her body screaming the truth she won't admit. Men mistake these for coincidence or friendliness, but the truth is, when a woman subconsciously gravitates toward you, her mind is already evaluating, testing, imagining, giving herself to you in ways she'll never voice. Notice how she mirrors your movements. If you shift, she shifts. If you speak softly, her tone drops slightly. It's not conscious, it's chemistry. Women unconsciously synchronize with men they desire, a silent dance that happens under the radar. If you recognize it and respond appropriately, you become the anchor in this dance, the steady presence she subconsciously craves. Most men, however, act oblivious. They fail to notice or they overreact, breaking the delicate tension she's carefully building. But the man who sees this, who understands this, he holds a magnet that pulls her in without her even realizing it. Another signal she won't verbalize: she seeks proximity but never pushes too far. She'll find reasons to be near you, leaning into your space, standing close in groups, even brushing against you by accident or design, yet she won't cross the line of direct invitation. That's deliberate. A woman who desires a man tests boundaries subtly, seeing how he reacts, too eager, too forceful, and he loses her attention. Calm, confident, observing. He earns the privilege of her trust, her closeness, and eventually her surrender. Every hesitant step she takes is a measure of your understanding, a silent gauge of your worthiness in her eyes. Pay attention to how she engages you in conversation. She asks personal questions, not just idle small talk, but questions that probe your thoughts, your values, your fears. These are not casual inquiries. They are invitations to reveal yourself, to share parts of your inner world that most men guard jealously. A woman who wants to give herself but won't say it seeks depth before vulnerability. She's scanning for emotional safety, intelligence, and authenticity. If she senses you can meet her on that level, she opens just enough to pull you closer. But fail to recognize her test or respond superficially, and she will withdraw, silently retracting her energy. You may never hear why, but the opportunity is gone. Then there's the way she plays with tension in your interactions. She'll flirt, pull back, tease, and then pretend nothing happened. This is classic. She's not playing games, she's assessing your emotional control. Women instinctively respond to men who are grounded, confident, and unshakable. She's watching to see if you chase, if you panic, if you bend to her unspoken cues. The man who understands this sees her teasing not as manipulation, but as a doorway. He remains calm, composed, subtly reciprocates without losing himself, and slowly turns her tension into magnetic attraction. That's how desire escalates silently, how she starts to imagine giving herself without saying a word. Finally, observe how she reacts to your presence when others are around. She may act casual, aloof, even distant in public, but her eyes betray her. A subtle glance, a flicker of curiosity, a quiet smile directed only at you. These are invisible markers of desire. She protects her image, maintains her social armor, but she's already signaling to you in ways most men never notice. The truly perceptive man reads between the lines, deciphers these hidden cues, and responds with quiet confidence. That is how a woman who won't say it begins to give herself, to reveal her interest without ever speaking it. The second hidden sign is subtler, yet far more revealing: the way she communicates when she doesn't have to. It's not in grand declarations or dramatic gestures, it's in consistency, tone, and timing. A woman who wants to give herself, even silently, finds ways to connect without saying it outright. Maybe she sends a message late at night, not because she's bored, but because she's curious if you're thinking about her. Maybe she remembers tiny details you've mentioned and brings them up casually, just to see if you notice. These are breadcrumbs, invisible threads she leaves for the man who can read them. Most men ignore them, chalking it up to coincidence. The perceptive man understands. She's testing your attention, gauging your desire, and quietly offering a window into her world. Observe how she reacts to your achievements, your humor, your confidence. She praises sparingly, teases often, and notices your small victories. This is intentional. She's watching for strength, for a man who owns himself without needing validation. Women are wired to recognize value before they admit desire. If she subtly celebrates your wins, lingers on your words, or laughs in ways that feel intimate, she's signaling that she wants to see more of you. Not all men recognize this. Most respond by overcompensating or trying too hard. But the man who sees it, who remains grounded, becomes the exception, the one she can't resist, even when she tries to hide it. Then there's the way she shares vulnerabilities without saying a word. Maybe she jokes about insecurities, hints at personal struggles, or subtly tests your empathy. These moments are her way of probing for safety and trust. She's looking to see if you can handle complexity, if you can respond with strength without being threatened. A man who understands this doesn't overreact. He absorbs the signals, responds with calm assurance, and becomes the safe harbor her subconscious desires. She won't admit this desire outright, but her body, her energy, her attention, all of it quietly screams it. Pay attention to how she handles absence. A woman who wants to give herself doesn't flood your life with constant attention. She's strategic. She may pull away, make herself scarce, or appear distant. But this is not disinterest. It's a test. She wants to see if you can hold your frame, maintain independence, and radiate value even when she's not around. Most men panic at this stage. They overtext, overcommit, and chase. But the man who masters this sees scarcity as a signal of interest, not rejection. He understands that desire is not about pursuit, but recognition. And when he maintains composure, she begins to feel the magnetic pull that leads her closer without her ever speaking it aloud. Finally, notice the energy she radiates when others are around. She may act casual, even playful with the group, but she reserves her most intense, subtle energy for you. A glance, a fleeting touch, a soft laugh that only you hear. These are invisible markers of attraction. She's balancing her social presentation with private desire, testing if you can notice and respond appropriately. The man who reads this, who understands the unspoken language of female psychology, unlocks a level of connection that most men never experience. He becomes her focus, her thought, her silent preoccupation. She may never tell you outright, but she's already giving herself, her attention, her energy, her curiosity, if you are perceptive enough to receive it. The third hidden sign is often the most misunderstood, her deliberate teasing and tension building. She'll say one thing, do another, smile, yet pull back, creating a rhythm that feels confusing, almost maddening. This isn't gamesmanship, it's an instinctive test. Women gauge desire by watching how a man responds to tension, unpredictability, and subtle challenge. She wants to see if you're grounded enough to remain composed while desire simmers beneath the surface. Most men fail this test. They overreact, they chase, they try to control her reactions. But the man who understands this, he becomes the anchor in her storm, the calm she can't ignore, the presence she subconsciously craves. And in this space of tension, attraction becomes irresistible, almost magnetic. Watch how she plays with your emotions without explicit intention. A glance held too long, a laugh slightly louder around you, a brush of her hand that seems accidental. These micro-interactions are her way of letting you know she's interested, but only if you have the awareness to catch it. She's giving you the chance to prove yourself without words, without pressure. If you miss it, the moment passes. But if you respond with calm confidence, subtle charm, and emotional control, you become the man who awakens her curiosity and longing. This is where attraction transforms from surface-level interest into a deeper, almost intoxicating pull. The fourth hidden sign is her subtle prioritization of your attention. She may act casual in public, keep conversations light, or appear indifferent, but watch closely. She remembers small details, follows up on things you said days ago, or finds ways to reconnect without seeming eager. This is her psychology in motion, testing if you notice, testing if you're paying attention, testing if you value yourself enough to command her focus. Most men underestimate this. They mistake her casual demeanor for disinterest and either overcompensate or step back entirely. But the perceptive man sees her patterns, decodes her signals, and recognizes that even in subtle prioritization, she's offering herself slowly, carefully, and deliberately. Another layer of this sign is how she shares her inner world in pieces. A story here, a laugh there, a fleeting vulnerability. She's revealing her inner life in controlled doses. She wants to gauge how you react, how you handle depth, and whether you can create safety without suffocating her. The man who understands this doesn't push too hard, doesn't overreact, and doesn't seek confirmation. He absorbs her cues, matches her energy, and earns the trust that leads her closer. This is how women give themselves quietly, through psychological and emotional alignment, rather than explicit declarations. Finally, notice how she reacts when you pull away slightly. She may test your interest by becoming less available, less responsive, or even teasingly distant. Many men panic and chase, misreading this as rejection. But a woman who desires a man is actually creating a safe space to measure his stability and self-respect. She wants to know, will he crumble or will he maintain his composure, strength, and frame? The man who masters this becomes irresistible because he demonstrates the qualities women are subconsciously wired to seek: confidence, control, emotional resilience, and value. Every flicker of her attention, every carefully measured step toward or away from you, every subtle tease and vulnerability, it all points to the same truth. She wants to give herself, but only to the man who sees, understands, and matches her on a psychological level. Miss it, and she may drift away. Notice it, and the doors to desire, connection, and intimacy swing wide open without her ever having to say a word. The fifth hidden sign is her protective curiosity. She won't say she's interested outright, but she observes you with a focus that goes beyond casual attention. She notices the way you carry yourself, the way you interact with others, and the subtleties in your confidence. She's testing your boundaries, your character, and your capacity to lead without dominating. This is how women silently evaluate men they want to give themselves to. They measure strength, integrity, and emotional control without ever saying it. Most men miss this entirely, distracted by words, texts, and overt signals. The perceptive man sees the unspoken. Her protective curiosity is desire in disguise, a silent approval that you are worth her attention and energy. She may also create private moments without invitation, small shared spaces that allow intimacy to develop. A fleeting glance across a crowded room, a quiet laugh when no one else is watching, a subtle touch that lingers just enough to be felt. She's testing your awareness, your presence, your ability to read between the lines. If you respond with grounded confidence, if you match her subtle energy without forcing it, she begins to entrust you with her attention, her thoughts, her longing. This is how women reveal their desire slowly, carefully, ensuring that the man she chooses is worthy of her emotional and physical intimacy. The sixth and final hidden sign is the intensity of her imagination. Women think in layers, in feelings, in possibilities. When a woman wants to give herself but won't say it, her imagination fills in the gaps between action and words. She may picture scenarios with you in her mind, recall moments of connection, or anticipate experiences she hasn't yet allowed herself to voice. This is why subtle hints, the lingering gaze, the gentle teasing, the energy she radiates, matter more than anything she actually says. The man who perceives this is not chasing. He's participating in her mental and emotional world, becoming someone she cannot stop thinking about, even when she appears indifferent. By now, you should understand the pattern. She will test, she will tease, she will observe, she will withdraw, she will mirror, she will imagine, but she rarely announces her desire outright. Her psychology is complex, layered, and purposeful. Every interaction, every subtle cue, every moment of attention or absence is a piece of a puzzle that only the perceptive, confident, and emotionally aware man can solve. This is the kind of understanding that elevates attraction from superficial interest to magnetic desire. It's rare, it's powerful, and it's entirely within your ability to notice if you train your mind and awareness to see the signals she cannot or will not voice. Now here's a challenge for you. Consider all the subtle signals she's given you lately. Her gaze, her touches, her teasing, her energy. Add them together in your mind. Multiply that awareness by your own confidence and presence. The result is the invisible equation of attraction that determines whether she begins to give herself to you or holds back? I want you to do the math. Write down your answer in the comments below. What do you notice? What pattern emerges? How aware are you of the signals she's sending without saying a word? If this video opened your eyes even slightly to female psychology, drop a like. Subscribe for more insights that most men will never understand, and share this video with a friend who needs to hear this truth tonight. Your awareness changes the game. The signals are there, waiting for you to notice. Will you see them, or will they slip by again? The choice and the power is yours.